People say that leaving corporate life is simple. Package up what you know, put your name on your door, and you're good to go. If only it were that simple. You see, I've gone through it myself, and I've seen and guided hundreds of people make the same transition out of corporate life. And they keep running into the same 6 failure modes time after time. And if you're not aware of these, you're gonna run smack into a wall. So we're gonna break down each of those 6 failure modes today, and instead what to do to really go through a successful corporate graduation. Quick note before we dive in. If you're in this for passive income, to buy a boring business, to just invest some dollars in real estate and think that's gonna save you, we're not talking to the right person right now. But if you know that you're in it because you've got 15 to 25 years of well-earned career capital and you need to package it and deploy it under a business of your own for real money, meaning, and freedom, then keep going. I'm talking to aspiring founders, but right now, it doesn't look that way. You might be a director, VP, or an executive earning in corporate America between 300 to 500K. You've got a sweet package. You've got the title, you've got the compensation. It's set your family up beautifully, the lifestyle. You might be the sole provider, right? That responsibility has come to you because you've done so well. But now it stacks. You've got maybe multiple mortgages. You've got kids going into college. You've got all of that responsibility on your shoulders. They've gotten used to the lifestyle as your family, and you've been keeping it all together as you go. But inside, you know you're meant to break out of this system. It did you well for all those years, but you're meant to actually package up your career capital and turn it into a founder business, something that really feels like it's yours finally. Not just operating in somebody else's system, but packaging it up and being a true founder. All the while you're looking at that full set of responsibilities and all that life complexity and all the people in your life, family and friends with all of those perspectives. And we've got to handle that all at once. So we're going to break down what it's like for you exactly and the 6 failure modes you need to avoid and work through so that you can graduate corporate life into your founder future. Everything I'm about to show you maps back to 3 phases of work: space, self, and system. Space means reclaiming the time, energy, and attention you need to be able to pull off such a massive transformation from corporate to founder in 1 year. Self means reinventing you, rewiring your belief systems, your identity, your view of risk, so that you can take the bold actions necessary to build your founder future. And system is where you build the business vehicle, where you take your career capital and you package it into a founder-led business that is generating active income, that builds the new chapter you want out of corporate life. The actual vehicle itself, all the mechanical pieces, the positioning, marketing, sales, the product, all of it. But that's the sequence. You must have space. You then must reinvent yourself. And then thirdly, you can build the system. That is not up for negotiation. That is the sequence. 1, then 2, then 3 in that order. We cannot break or scramble that. All right, so I looked at the hundreds of cases I've seen over the last few years of people attempting to go from corporate to build their own business. And these are the 6 primary failure modes I see people run into time after time. Failure mode number 1 is jumping straight into building a business. I hear it all the time. Just tell me what to build. If you give me the roadmap, you give me the plan, I'll build the thing and I'll succeed and I can graduate corporate life forever and live in this new chapter. If only it were that simple. Here's why that doesn't work. Right now, you might be working 60 plus hours a week. You've got everything involved in your corporate life and all the complexities of life. I'm guessing you don't have all this margin, all this space to now go thoroughly build a new business out of nothing, to make it up out of nothing and bring it to life and build all those new skills. You just don't. So we have to be able to firstly create space. Take a corporate job that's maybe 60 hours, compress it down to 25 or 30. And yes, you can with the right work. You need that in your life, time, energy, and attention, right? That's space. And then you need to reinvent the person that's looking in the mirror, because that person right now is used to managing other people's money, investing their money, and being very calculated and managing risk and playing by the rules and earning credentials and succeeding. Is a very different game now. As you step into entrepreneurship, this is a wildly new way of operating. We can't skip the idea of creating space and reinventing yourself because only that version of you is going to take the necessary bold actions to then build the system, build the business. The people that jump straight into building a business smack right into a wall. And guess what? That's what you see promoted everywhere. Go scan YouTube, go ask GPT, go scan LinkedIn. Guess what they're all talking about? You go from corporate to successful so-and-so business owner. Are you kidding me? If only it were that easy. It's not. You're a human being with all sorts of complexities and emotions. We have to work through that. Reinvent yourself, reinvent how you're spending your time right now. Take that corporate job, put it on autopilot, compress it down into something that's actually a tool. Then you've got the conditions to go build a new chapter, to build a business. And everything depends on you passing this gate I just described to you, because the rest of the failure modes don't matter if you don't understand that exact point. You cannot jump straight from corporate life into building a business and hope to succeed. Failure mode number 2, corporate replication. Let's say you've been in marketing or engineering or sales for the last 25 years. You think that's all you can do. You look at your history, your LinkedIn profile, and you say, well, outside of corporate life, I should take what I've been doing and repackage it under my own business, under my own name, and do more of that. That's freedom, right? No, it's not. Few conditions exist. Number 1 is you probably are very tired of doing that work. Sure, you've been well paid for it. You could keep doing it. It's only logical, right? There's a reason, though, you want to graduate corporate life, because you're likely done with doing that work. What makes you think that doing that work on your own, if you're tired of it, and if you no longer have corporate resources to do it with you, will make you successful? Those conditions don't add up. And thirdly, it's a failure of imagination. You have so much career capital, so much life experience you're sitting on. Why wouldn't you go through the exploratory process to figure out what you actually are gifted at, what you love doing, who you want to help, and then scan the outside world and say, who needs my help today? Who do I want to help? What unmet needs do they have? You play this matchmaking between what lights you up and what they need. That's a new business waiting to happen. That's a new category waiting to be defined. That's the process to go through. Do not think that just lazily replicating your corporate life is the path forward. Again and again, I see people run into a wall because that is not the move they should be making. Failure mode number 3 is that people have the wrong definition of risk. Let's take a look at the math. If you've had 15 to 25 years of career experience and career capital built up, it actually pans out pretty well in most situations. If you look at your financial runway to do something of your own, it really looks nice. You start to see that you could have time. You do have money to invest. You just haven't done it yet. You haven't said, I'm willing to break the pattern. And again, I'm not saying you need to lose your job. You don't have to let go of the paycheck right now. We just need to compress that thing into a tight box, let it run on autopilot while you build your new founder business. But we have to understand that the risk of doing nothing is far greater for most people than the risk of doing something. You've created the conditions. You have time, money, career capital on your side. We just have to do the work to say that this risk is worth taking. This is the risk I need to take, because the risk of sitting still and letting the world happen to me and letting the changing workforce and AI do its thing as I just sit here in my director or VP position is not the thing that's going to help you succeed. It's not going to be the graduation that takes place. We need to reinvent risk and deploy our career capital for ourselves. Failure mode number 4 is ignoring self-investment. Now, this isn't something I ever understood until I started doing it about a decade ago while I was still in corporate life. So, till this point, you wouldn't blink at putting $200K towards an MBA or using company money to fund your next leadership development course. That's what you were used to doing. They were sensible things. Other people around you did them. But the idea of actually investing in yourself, using your money, your time, your energy, saying, this is a thing that means a lot to me, putting myself in a mastermind or a coaching program, a tribe of people, an environment of people that are doing things that create this nervous excitement in you. You want to feel scared, on your toes, out of your comfort zone. The fact that you're the smartest person in your room right now is a telling sign you need to get the hell out of that room and put yourself in one where you're at the bottom again. You should feel like a beginner. That's what you need to actually be a founder. create the conditions, being in mastermind programs, having coaches, peers that are on the same corporate graduation journey with you, building founder businesses, pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. That's what you want for yourself. But you have to normalize self-investment. Putting your money into yourself, you are your greatest asset. What more could you do? Would you put it in more passive income? Would you put it in something else that's another sensible upgrade to your house? Come on, let's be honest about this. What's the best investment? It's you. We have to normalize investing in ourselves so that we take the scary actions because we're around people, ideas, and energy that elevate us, that graduate us beyond our past. Failure mode number 5, commodity positioning. Most people don't realize it, but they're putting themselves in the crowd. They look just like everyone else. They feel special. They walk down the hallways and they, command an army of 200 people, of all these people that report to them, and they think, I'm too good for this environment. I've got all the skill. I can move out and do my own thing. Really? Well, why are you still there? Why are you still hiding behind this VP of software sales label? The reality is the outside world can't tell how special you are. You might be that unique and that special. But if you portray yourself to the outside world as one of many, guess what? You're going to be treated as one of many. You can't tolerate being positioned as a commodity. You can't look at your LinkedIn profile and say does this look like hundreds of thousands of other people? Because if it does, that's you being a commodity. Now, it takes some work to really change this. It's more than just a few keyword changes. You need to do some real excavation of what are you gifted at? What is your career capital? How could you turn all of that into IP? How could you talk about yourself as the unique outcomes that you provide for certain groups of people? How do you start to stand out as remarkable through your positioning? How do you even design your own category and live in that space? So whether you're in a corporate job or moving towards a founder business, it works in both ways. AI is swarming the crowd. You see this, right? It's just knocking the legs out of all these people. If you're at the top of the totem pole, middle or bottom especially, all these commodity type players, these skills and talents are being taken over by AI. There's fewer spots. So that means we need to seek higher ground. You need anti-commodity positioning. You need to be premium, you need to be unique, and you need to do the work of figuring out exactly what that is. This is you marketing yourself. It's the idea of don't market your past, market your future. How much time are you spending on that? And lastly, number 6, this is the one no one talks about. This is the provider trap. When you have a spouse that's creating a lot of pressure on you and you've got a family that you need to provide for. This has been years in the making. You've got kids all the way up into college at this point. Your spouse has normalized not working. You've got everything on your shoulders. Sure, you pull home bank. You got 400, 500K at least coming in through compensation. Everyone's used to it. Everyone's reliant on it. You see yourself as the provider and it's noble and it's been great for all these years. But that weight is all on you. And if we don't understand what it takes to actually get our family involved and get them used to the idea of moving beyond corporate, graduating it and becoming a founder, that pressure is going to weigh on you. That failure mode is going to keep crushing you into the ground. We have to bring these people on board, do the work, help our spouses, our partners especially, see what this path is, that it can be safe, that it can be ultra rewarding in all the ways of money, meaning, and freedom that you all want for yourself. But it's going to take some pattern breaking. It's going to take some discomfort, some creativity, some resourcefulness, some self-investment that they're going to have to get on board with if this is going to happen for you. This isn't a business problem. This is a relationship and communication problem that no one in the entrepreneurial space will touch. That's why I'm so obsessed with it. It's so critical that we need to work through the provider trap and the spousal pressure. So those are the 6 failure modes of leaving corporate life. Jumping straight into a business, replicating corporate life, having the wrong definition of risk, ignoring self-investment, tolerating commodity positioning, or falling into the provider trap. Here's what you should want instead. Number 1, in space, you want to make sure that you've got the conditions in your life, the time, energy, the attention span to effectively leave corporate life. We need to engineer this. Secondly, we need to make sure that that self is rebuilt, that identity system your beliefs in yourself, the ability to take risks that you know you need to do. And then finally, you move to the system component where you extract that IP, all that career capital, that gold that you've been sitting on for all those years. You package it, you deliver it to someone who absolutely needs it. You market it very well. That creates the sales for you. That allows you to have leverage in how you deliver it. That's how you create the conditions for a thriving business that's unique, it's differentiated, and you can bring it into the world that it needs. And finally, with system, this is where you extract your gold, all that career capital that you've been sitting on. We package it into an IP as a founder should, and we bring it to the world with really strong marketing, with sales that actually create an impact. And then you have leveraged delivery. That's what we bring to life. From space to self to system in that sequence. It is not negotiable. Now let me bring it to life with one of my clients who just went through this days ago. He'd spent the last 12 years as a senior director in a large technology software firm. He'd spent 60 hours a week over week for years. His marriage, his kid relationships were under stress. He was really stressed, didn't have any hope for what it would look like beyond that. He thought he would just have to keep gritting and bearing, tolerating. Now zip forward just a few months, what's taken place, he's compressed that down into 30 hours a week. He put that paycheck on autopilot, really brought that to a situation where he has it under his control. He's got the space in his life. He reinvented himself, looking at the belief system, the identities, making sure he saw himself as a founder day in and day out while still at that big tech firm. He created the space and self in his life. Beyond that, he started creating the conditions outside into a new chapter. He started concepting the business on the side. He figured out what his intellectual property was, actually tested it at his employer while keeping it to himself. He had thousands of people at a town hall reaching out to him, asking for what he was doing because it felt so special. All the while, he directed that into an executive leadership team position at a new startup, created that for himself, huge equity upside while capturing an advisory position somewhere else. These were stepping stone moves using his IP, again, all on the other side of working through space and self in that order to figure out what his system would be. That's how you move progressively through it. His next few years are going to be like on an absolute rocket ship for him. That's what corporate graduation looks like in practice. Now, if you want to go deeper into all of this and to break through all 6 of these failure modes, I've got something for you. Check out the full corporate graduation blueprint here. It's also linked in the description below. This will show you everything you need to know to move through the corporate graduation process. Don't tolerate these failure modes. Break through them with clarity.